Good evening, one and all. Here is Victor Alpha 3 India Mike Whiskey. That's my ham radio call sign. And my name is Mike Alpha Charlie. And we're situated here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. And we're rapidly approaching the 7 p.m. hour. That's our opportunity to share with you the Lake Ontario Radio Club net. This net meets 5 times a week, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday on this repeater, and on Thursdays on a simplex frequency of 446.125. Our net controller tonight should be VE3IUK, Bill from Dundas, and we're just waiting for the clock to flip over to 7 p.m. So we'll be monitoring the VE3ZOE repeater. Frequency is 443.075, +5 offset, and no tone required. Please stand by.
Good evening, all amateurs. This is Victor Echo 3 India Uniform Kilowatt, Bill in Dundas, and I'm your host this evening for the Lake Ontario Radio Club net. This net meets 5 times weekly, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday on this repeater at 7 p.m. Thursdays on a simplex frequency of 446.125. I'd like to thank Mac, VA3IMW, for streaming the net via YouTube, and when checking in, remember to press that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. When checking in, mobile stations do get priority, and we do have a question for tonight. I don't know a lot of stories of how people on this repeater got into ham radio. The question is optional, but what inspired you to become an amateur? Because I really don't know a lot of people's story here, so it'd be nice to know that. And at some point during this net, I'll relate my story as well. But in the meantime, let's stand by and see if there are any priority stations, quick one and done traffic. Come now. Okay, nothing heard, so let's stand by for anyone who would like to check into the Lake Ontario Radio Club net. Come now.
VA3IMW.
Boy, if we were to get fined for dead air, we'd be in trouble anyway. Good evening, Mac. How you doing?
Doing so good. It's already Tuesday, right? Tomorrow's A-Reg day, and then it's downhill all the way. Yep. Yeah, you really tweaked my memory with your question, Bill. I do still remember the gentleman that came to our high school electricity class and did a presentation on ham radio. It all sounded very intriguing. He brought a very large handy-talkie, and he had it pre-arranged with another operator to be monitoring a repeater. So he actually completed a contact while he was doing his demonstration. But then he proceeded to tell us all the reasons why we wouldn't want to become ham operators. You have to learn CW, you have to be able to operate under the guidance of a mentor for a period of time before you can be set free to operate on frequencies. You got to do this, you got to do that. And it made it sound like an old boys club. So I remember looking at my buddy. I says, I guess that means ham radio is out for us. We'll be stopping at Radio Shack to pick up our CBs. So, so from the 70s to the 90s, my only radio interaction was the Citizens Band radio, kind of off and on between the mid 80s and 90s. But along came COVID, and I learned that regulations had changed, and it was a heck of a lot easier to get into the hobby. And lo and behold, here we are. So I'm glad the system has been rejuvenated, and now we have a bunch of new blood coming in and taking advantage of things. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Anyways, any other questions for me tonight, Bill?
No, I knew your story, but there's probably some people on here that may have not known it. But I'm sure you're like many people, probably experienced that same thing. But back then, it was a little more of back when the DLC was around. It was a whole different game than it is now. Anyway, thank you for relating that story, Mac.
All right, very good. And just another quick note. Still looking for feedback from people interested in the N1CC event. Somewhere the last 2 or 3 weeks of May may be a good time to do it. So still looking for people to put up their hands saying that they are truly interested in bulking up their Parks on the Air awards to include the N1CC designation. So we're all ears, and haven't heard anything except for a couple of hands up that said they'd be interested. But I think we need a few more folks that are going to be willing to participate, and or individuals that are maybe newer amateurs that are extremely interested in bulking up their awards page.
A couple points regarding that. I'm waiting to hear back from Steve. He was going to check his schedule because I know him and Mark are quite interested in coming out, and Mark's interested in getting N1CC. So hopefully we hear back from them, and I'll fire an email off to Wade. He doesn't often check in during the week, so I'll fire an email off to him, and we'll put something up on QRZ with what our intentions are and the fact that we're looking for feedback. And I see that Albert's checked in from Barrie, so good evening to Albert. So I will fire an email off to Wade later this evening.
All righty. And I think you meant to say Discord rather than QRZ. So, yep, absolutely. Very good. Thanks for doing this one, Bill. And don't forget to give Chuck a nudge, right?
No, I won't. No. And yeah. Discord, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I meant to say Discord. And I see, thanks for checking in, Mac. And I do see some more activity. I see Jason and Chuck have also checked in via YouTube. So hopefully there are check-ins. So thanks so much for your check-in. I'll basically relate my story very quickly here. I was always interested in listening to radio since I was a young kid. And I remember getting a crystal radio set when I was 11. And subsequent years, I think I had some demonstrations of CB radio back when it was a little more, esoteric than it was now. It was sort of just for people with a bit of money and sort of the upper middle class type thing. And I got a couple of demonstrations and was told by the man that gave me the demonstration that it was considered the gentleman's band. But we know what happened to that in the 70s. But anyway, to make a long story short, I was a CBer for a very short period of time. I was contacted through the local CNIB in Brantford at that time, and somebody got wind that I was messing around CB, and somebody said, "Would you be interested in amateur radio?" Which I knew nothing about, and so I, took the course, had a mentor the whole 9 yards, and I was able to get licensed. So that's my story in a nutshell. But anyways, let's stand by and see if there are any other check-ins for the Lake Ontario Radio Club Net. Come now.
Victor Echo 3, Lima Bravo, India.
VE3IUK. VE3IUK. Good evening, Larry. How you doing?
Not too bad, Bill. I just joined in 2 seconds ago. I was a little late getting here. So, anyways, nothing really to report other than the rain that we were supposed to get. We didn't. I think we're supposed to get it tomorrow. So, it turned out to be not a bad day. A nice, pleasant afternoon.
Yeah, Roger. Well, at least when you go outside, you don't have to put all that winter gear on, so that's kind of nice. Anyway, Larry, the question this evening is, how did you end up getting into ham radio? What sparked your interest?
he worked for Bell and Howell. He always was messing with stuff, building things, and kind of, I don't know, kind of tweaked me into, you know, interested in different options, and obviously probably was I was a CB or previous, and then things kind of got out of hand. There was too much nonsense. I kind of shut things down, put everything away, probably for, I guess, about 5 years. And when I came out of it, quite a few people had picked up their licenses and kind of got me a little poke in the ribs and say, go get yours, so I did.
Yeah, there seems to be one common factor with most of us here. We had that flirtation with CB and radio, and we're disenchanted, and we're fortunate enough to get steered in the right direction of amateur radio.
Yep. So it turned out good. Enjoy it. And met a lot of new people. Both on actually the CB more, but probably more in the ham band than I have on the CB band. So it worked out well. I enjoy it, like I say, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, very good. No, I thought, I don't know everyone's story, but I see a lot of patterns and similarities in the stories, and I'm sure that will be the same if we get more check-ins and people tell their stories as well. But thanks so much for checking in, Larry, and have a good evening.
Yep, okay, Bill, thanks for doing it, and hello everybody on the net tonight and on YouTube. So I'll pass it back to you, Bill. VE3IUK clear.
Yeah, take care, Larry. Thanks for checking in. Any other check-ins for the Lake Ontario Radio Club Net? Come now.
VA3NFG. VA3MHV.
Okay, stand by, Mark. We'll start with Steve. VE3NFG, VE3IUK. Good evening. How you doing?
VE3IUK, VA3NFG. Good evening, Bill, and all on that. Had a nice day off today. Would have been nicer if I had a lawnmower fixed, but that's okay. I'll have to wait a few more days. There, you know, the cable there for the safety. So I'm just going to use a vice grip on it. Should be fixed. Anyway, that's about it. We're moving my mom into the nursing home tomorrow morning, so I'll be doing that in the AM hours, and just going to work from there tomorrow. So that's about it for me as far as stuff that's new. I almost bought a new lawnmower, but I don't need to do that. Nothing's seized, just the broken cable. So that'll save me a couple $100. Anyway, that's it there, Bill. All this thick mark up there. Bill, thanks for doing the net, and we'll be listening to VA3NFG.
Yeah, VA3NFG, VA3IUK. Yeah, you're not 100% into the repeater, but I got 90% of that. So good luck with your mom on the weekend or tomorrow. And whenever we can get together, that's fine. Oh, just one reminder. Let us know which Saturday is good for you for this N1, for you and Mark, for this N1CC event that we're going to do. I think, as I told you previously, we've got either the Saturday before the long weekend, or the Saturday of the long weekend, or the Saturday after. So if you could get back to us, that would be cool. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Bill. Yeah, moving around here in the backyard. I just got to have a look at the calendar and count off my weekends. So this weekend will be my weekend off. So yeah, I just can't think of what weekend that is off the top of my head. I got to look at the calendar, but yeah, I'll get back to you, Bill, about that. And that's it there. So back to you there, Bill. VA3NFG.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Steve. Yeah, we appreciate that, and then we can try to get this coordinated. Anyway, let's see what Mark is up to, and I think I know Mark's story, how he got into amateur radio. That would have been because of Steve there. But anyways, Mark, good evening. How you doing?
Good evening, Bill. VE3IUK, VA3MHV. Doing well, fairly well. I did come down with an ailment today, actually, which is a little surprising. The reason I got into amateur radio there, Bill, was emergency preparedness, basically. A lot of chats with Steve about it. He knows I'm a bit of a prepper, and I wanted to be able to use it in the event of an emergency, and be legit, of course. I mean, anyone can run out and grab a bowfang, but anyway, that's where I'm coming from. As far as the scheduling for him and I go, this coming weekend, 2nd, 3rd, we are off. 9, 10, we are working. 16, 17, we are off. 23, 24, we are working. And 31 at the end of the month is off limits because we're going on vacay.
Yeah, so it looks like the weekend of the Victoria Day weekend. Okay, we shall keep that in mind. Did you copy that, Mac?
Loud and clear.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll keep that in mind. All right, and that's a really valid reason for getting into amateur radio, and I think that's another reason why I enjoy practicing POTA, because it's all about emergency preparedness, Mark.
Yeah, I was still an amateur when COVID hit, but I understand you guys had quite regular nets on a regular basis where you could discuss what's going on, and I wasn't even listening in back then, but I wish I had been able to, because it would have helped a lot with the isolation factor, right? Anyway, useful. You never know what's going to come down the pike, and if the repeater system on battery backup works as it's designed to, so we're all told, it may be the only communication source around if we had an emergency. So, yeah, I came down with a little illness today, Bill. I've been waking up the last few days with a little bit of a rash on the back of my back. So I ventured into the physician today, the family doctor, and lo and behold, if I'm not strapping shingles on my back. So that's what's going on and new in my world, Bill. Thank you for doing the net, and I will turn it back to you. VE3IUK, VA3MHV.
Yeah, VE3MHV, VE3IUK. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. That's one thing I've never come down with. I hope I never do. I did get my vaccine when I turned 65, the Shingrix or whatever they call it. So, but I hope you recover fast from that. I've never experienced it, but I know people have had it, and it's no day at the beach. So thank you so much for checking in. Oh, one quick comment. You know, you're talking about the fact that, emergency preparedness. I just saw an article today that the BBC is shutting down many of their long-wave stations. You know, we don't have the shortwave bands the stations that we used to have. So in an emergency, we're going to be the ones that are going to get called on, so we should be prepared. Anyways, thanks so much for checking in, Mark.
And thank you for doing the net, Bill. I'll be listening along and enjoying the net. Victor Alpha 3, Mike Hotel Victor, back to net.
Okay, and with that, let's see if there's anyone else who would like to check into the Lake Ontario Radio Club net. Come now.
VE3ZJC.
VE3ZJC, VE3IUK. Good evening. How you doing, Jason?
Well, good evening, Bill, and everybody else on net. Doing all right today. Finally made it up to the shack here. Give you an RF check-in on top of the YouTube check-in. I did hear the question. I don't really know that I have an answer for the question of the net, other than this was a new technology, and I got my license to prove that I could, and then discovered the fantastic social side of amateur radio. So being the local nets, playing POTA and contests, and just people throwing CQ out there on HF to see how far they can reach. It's been 2 years now? No, 3 years now since I got licensed, and when I'm around on the radio, I've enjoyed every second of it.
So in your case, but somewhere along the line, you were exposed to the term amateur radio or knew of ham radio?
Yep. So when I was, if I go way, way, way back, when I was a kid, I had had one of those electronic kits that my dad got me that had the little springs for all of the different components that you could then use little jumper wires. And one of the coolest things I did with that kit was I turned the eaves trough on my childhood home into a big antenna so that I could pick up radio signals.
Oh, yeah. I did something similar when I was a kid with my crystal radio set to see if I could improve the reception.
There you go. So if you want to say that's probably when it bit, first exposure to electronics and radio was probably when I was about 7 or 8 years old in the childhood home. Other than that, obviously no radio today other than this. For the M1CC, I'm definitely in as long as you don't pick the Saturday or Sunday of the May 24 weekend. That is the date that the people are coming to my house to pick up all my stuff and move it. So I won't be available those 2 days. However, I am on vacation after that, starting that weekend. So the Monday or after that, I'm good for N1CC. And then for, I think it was MHV before me here, for amateur radio preparedness related stuff, there is a new program, Ontario Course. So if you've got a skill, and RAC is part of that, so if you're a RAC member or you're interested in doing emergency preparedness stuff, responding, amateur radio is definitely part of that. So you could give that a quick search on the interwebs there, and maybe some of the fellow hams here could volunteer. I'll be looking into that more myself once I'm settled at the new QTH. Send it back to you, Bill.
Yeah, it's affiliated with RAC, but what is the name of the program?
So it's a provincial government thing. It's the Ontario Course. They've been advertising on the radio and on TV. I catch it when watching some of the sports. So it's basically anybody who is interested in being part of not quite a first responder, but emergency preparedness if something were to happen in the province or the country that needed, civilian response for whatever. And part of that is, so RAC, the RAC is part of that. It's on the website, so it's ontario.ca/course, CORPS. Just Google's your friend on that one. I haven't gone into it too deeply, but as a ham, I've got equipment and I will have location and stuff so that perhaps I could be of service one day in the future. God forbid that, ever happens. So we need hams for everything.
Yeah, Roger, and especially since this generation seems to think that Wi-Fi will be there like turning on and off a light. So absolutely, Jason, very good point, and would encourage everybody to check that out. I will do that at some point. Thanks so much for checking in, Jason, and have a very good evening. Anyone else for the Lake Ontario Radio Club Net? Come now.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Romeo Foxtrot Mobile.
VA3WPG, quick check-in, no comments tonight.
Okay, got you in the log, Chris, and with that we'll pick up Vern. Good evening, Vern. How you doing?
Good evening, Bill, and everybody on the net. Yeah, just out for a spin in the car for a minute. Just going to go pick something up over at Canadian Tire. Not a bad day today. A little bit of rain in the morning, but at least it was warm. I mean, I didn't see much of the sun. Hope you had a good day, Bill. VA3CRF.
Yep, had a good day, Vern, and it sounds like you had one as well, and thank you so much for checking in. And I don't know if you heard what Jason was talking about there with this Ontario Corps and emergency preparedness, but sounds like something worth looking into.
Yeah, there are always opportunities to help out in the community. I know a bunch of hams helped out with the Paris to Ancaster run. Sure, there's other things that we can do. So, yeah, it's good to be aware of those.
Yep, and I'm old enough that I remember the Mississauga train derailment, and I was on the radio for over 24 hours straight passing traffic.
I remember the big blackout that we had too. I was on the radio for quite a while, just letting folks in the office know what was going on. I think back then the CN Tower repeater was running on battery or backup, and that was the only place we could figure out what was going on.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm glad I've got some kind of battery power here, but I need to invest in some solar panels as well. I can see that as being very advantageous, and they've certainly come down in price to what they used to be.
Yep, this is true. Anyway, Bill, appreciate you picking me up. Thanks for doing the net. I'll be listening along for a little while. Hopefully there's a couple of folks in there behind me. Thanks for doing it, VA3CRF.
Yeah, take care, Vern, and thank you so much for checking in. Anyone else for the Lake Ontario Radio Club net? Come now.
VE3, Victor Yankee Tango, just checking in, no comments.
Okay, got you in there, VE3VYT, Edward. Thanks a lot, and we'll pick up Thomas there. VE3 Charlie Echo Uniform, VE3IUK. Good evening.
VE3IUK, VE3CU, good evening, Bill and everybody else on the net there. Yep, just turn the radio on and check in and say hello.
Well, yeah, I was able to copy 100% through that transmission, and thanks a lot for checking in.
Thanks, Bill. You and everybody else on the radio. We'll be listening on.
7-3. Anyone else for the Lake Ontario Radio Club net? Come now.
Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu.
VA3CJZ. VE3IUK. Good evening, Chuck. How you doing?
Hey, good evening, Bill, and all on net and on the YouTube stream. And I see my cousin Guy has just dropped in to say hi. Hello, Guy. So yeah, we had our daughter drop by today. Of course, she wanted to get some presents, right? So she made a visit. Actually, my wife had to go pick her up. So get this, today is the 28th, and she turned 28 today. So she's got a big party planned there, so I'm sure she's going to get all, probably asking her boyfriend tomorrow what she did last night. But anyways, speaking of the question you had, Bill, about what got me into ham radio, and then I heard mention of CB. Well, let me tell you the backstory first, and it starts with a long time ago in a galaxy far away. My twin brother Daryl and my other twin brother Daryl were into CB back in the 70s, and boy, were they characters. And geez, I guess somehow along the ways, I got really interested in shortwave radio. Purchased a few of them actually, and it was a great way to spend time, being an only child growing up too, right? And so eventually, I got a push from Kevin, VE3KKP, and the other Kevin, VA3NE, my neighbor. Pushed me to write the ticket, and so I did, and well, here I am. And so my twin brother Daryl and my other twin brother Daryl have not been on the radio in some time. Back to you.
Yeah, I got you there, Chuck, and it seems that most of us, that common denominator is CB. And of course, I don't know if you heard earlier what I was talking about, but my first introduction to CB was pre-1970. And back then it was considered the gentleman's band. It was sort of a, middle class, upper middle class thing. And of course, we all know what happened in the 70s to change that, Chuck.
Yeah, and that reminds me, my grandmother's brother, which would be my great uncle, he was blind, and one time she brought me over to see him at his apartment, and first thing I noticed was a shortwave radio, and of course it's a great way for blind hams to pass a lot of the lonely time they have by listening to others, and that gave me the bug. And in all honesty, Bill, I must have been about, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old at the time, and yeah, and then after that, whenever when I left home, I guess I was able to buy shortwave radios and so on. So yeah, I go back into the 60s as well. Technically, I started in my high school junior year. They had a CB club. This is back in 1975, or was it 74? I forget now. Anyways, one of the two. And joined that club, and I was hooked ever since. And so, of course, I've upgraded.
Yeah, that's so many similarities with that story. I think the thing that turned me off from CB was going to a coffee meet at the arena in Burford, Ontario, Chuck, and once the mayhem started to break out, the friend that I was with, we took off.
Yeah, when it turns to violence, yeah, that's no good. But when you said coffee meet, it reminded me when I first came to Hamilton and got some CB equipment, I used to, with another guy, I forget who now, and we'd hear female voices on the radio, and they, oh, you want to meet for coffee? And of course you show up there, and well, I'm going to be nice and say, none of them would ever be able to even enter into a beauty pageant. Let's put it that way. Nice, nice people, but quite a shock when you walk in the room.
Yeah, the deception of the voice over the radio. I think we've all experienced that. Anyway, Chuck, yeah, it's just sort of just trying to inject some interest into the net by coming up with a question each night. So I thought that would be a good one. We get to know each other a little bit better. We see the common denominators of why we became ham operators, and there are some common denominators there. Anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, we need to let you give a plug for the longest running simplex down in this area. Take it away.
All right. Well, geez, it's Tuesday already. That means tomorrow is Wednesday, and that is the night of the longest running simplex net. That will be at 8 p.m. on 146.430 simplex now, no repeater, 146.430, and I may have trouble streaming the net. I ended up reinstalling Windows, Bill, and my OBS studio software is not recognizing the radio volume, but I'm working on it, and hopefully we can get that going. If not, maybe we can get a little bit of help from IMW if he so chooses. And so it's just not recognizing it. But in any case, I will be transmitting tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on 146.430. Hope to catch you all there. And let's see now. Last bit of news, Bill. I just purchased a brand new G5 RV Deluxe from GPS Central. And that should be in, I don't know, a week maybe? No. Yeah, 3 to 10 business days.
Oh, very good. Is it a full-size one? Because I know there's a miniature-size one, and there's a full-size one.
Yeah, no, I already have a junior, They call it the G5RV Junior. I have one of those. It's up. It works fine. But it's mostly for 20 meters. Mine does a couple other bands too, pretty good. But it's really resonant. The Junior works really great on 20 meters. But this is the full length one from 10 to 80 with a tuner. And I read some good reviews about that one. And so, yeah, really looking forward to. And also, the ladder line is shorter. There are two lengths of ladder line that you can get. One of them is 30 feet or 30.1, and the other one is 35 feet. And I've got the 35-foot one. And let me tell you, he gets buried in the snow there at the bottom during the winter. So this one here, if it's going to be 30 feet, I've got 5 feet to play with.
Oh, okay, very good. Well, you'll have to let us know how it works out for you. I'd love to have the room to put one of them up here. That would be cool. But be that as it may, I hope it works out for you, Chuck. So everybody tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for Chuck's Net. It's always a good net. Lots of interesting facts that you can use to impress people at the next party you go to. Isn't that right, Chuck?
Absolutely. Grab your partner, grab your wife, sit back and play along with the trivia that we have, and then some interesting facts that happened on this day in history, and check-ins, announcements, all kinds of fun.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for doing that, Chuck. And I know it's a great way for people to break up the week. And I know that as hams, we all look forward to it. And it's sort of that pivotal point where we know, 2 more sleeps and the weekend's here. So anything else, Chuck, before I move on?
No, not that I can think of, Bill, except say thank you. You're doing a great job. And I'll listen along for the rest. VA3CJZ.
Yeah, kind of slipped up there. Actually, 3 more sleeps from the Wednesday to the weekend. But anyway, there you go. Or is it 2? Wednesday, Thursday? No, 2. Okay, I was right the first time. Anyway, before I get all tongue-tied here, let's move on and see if there's anyone else that would like to check into the Lake Ontario Radio Club net. Come now.
VE3, every kind of junk.
VE3EKJ, VE3IUK. Good evening, Bill. How you doing?
Not bad. I'm feeling very proud of myself. I'm checking in, and the net's not even over yet. That's good for me.
Yeah, you didn't have to have the door slam on your foot tonight.
Yeah, oh boy. I had a bit of a screwy day. I get a new skin doctor. The one I've had for some years. Looked after my psoriasis, did a wonderful job, but he decided to flee into Western Canada because he got family out there, closed down his practice here. So they got me a new one up on Lock Street South. I do not know Lock Street South. So I tried looking up about how the buses work for the Lock Street route. As you can imagine, Bill, Hamilton's computer guys, they either haven't got around to it or they've never taken a bus themselves. It was a trial by terror.
Yeah, you better to map it out yourself and then just use the bus app. I've had the same experience, Bill.
Well, there's no bus app. What happened, as you probably know, you can go to the Hamilton webpage for the city, and then they have the HSR section. And they used to have a trip planner, and you give it where you live, and you give it your destination, and it would work it all out for you. And they still have a button to do that, but if you click on it, nothing happens. So I thought, well, at least I can print out the route. And I'm looking at the route on my screen for the the lock bus, and it's just a little small print, not very comfortable for my old eyes. So I tried to print it, because I've always printed before, but on the PDF to print for the Lock Street bus, it looks like when somebody put the page on the scanner, they must have coughed or sneezed, and it looked like it tore it into shreds and just pasted it willy-nilly. Can't work out rhyme nor reason. But even looking to it on the screen, it morphs into the number 6 and the number 8, and I couldn't see clearly if it went all the way up, and if it didn't go all the way up, I'd have to walk about 10 blocks. So to make a short story long, I picked up I took the Bayfront to pick up the Lock Street at 11:15, and I have a 1 o'clock appointment. I figured if worst came to worst, I've had a lot of spare time to get things straightened out and not be late. And lo and behold, it went all the way up to within 1 block of where I had to go. And by about 20 to 12, I was standing on the street wondering what to do before my 1 o'clock appointment.
Yeah, Roger. Well, that bus app has been down since the crash, but I was talking about other things, but they require a smartphone, which I don't think you have, so none of those other things would have helped you, but I use alternate stuff on my smartphone to plan my trips, but obviously, of course, that will not help you. But anyway, I'm glad that you made your appointment okay.
Well, I saved the worst for last, and it's all my fault. Senior's memory and everything. I had about 6 or 7 appointments over the next couple of months, all thrown at me all at once by my GP. And I wrote them down on various notes as I was, receiving the phone call. And I stuck them on my fridge with magnets. And again, to make a short story long, Bill, my appointment was actually for May the 7th, but they were kind and took me anyways. Recheck.
Yeah, go ahead, recheck.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, VA3CJZ. Before I forget there, I just wanted to pass on my condolences to Mark, and also to thank Mark for reminding me I have to get my second vaccine for the shingles in 2 days. So I had completely forgotten about it. Thanks for letting me break in. VA3CJZ.
Oh, that's fine, Chuck. Yeah, and I think when you turn 65, you don't pay for it, so it's worthwhile getting. I got the shingles and the pneumococcus both once I turned 65. Anyway, anything else, Bill? Back to you.
Well, I'm through complaining. That's what us old guys do. We complain. But, to Chuck there, just an aside, I don't know if you've caught it on the news or, what going Googling on your computer, but apparently for some reputable medical firms, the word is that the shingles vaccine, when you're an older guy, actually has some life extension qualities. So, good chance you'll live longer. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, back to you, Bill. I'll let you carry on. VE3IUK, VE3 every kind of junk.
Well, maybe I can get more than one vaccine. Live forever. No, I wouldn't want to do that. Anyway, thanks so much for checking in, Bill, and you have a good evening, and we shall see you tomorrow morning. With that, let's see if there's anyone else who would like to check into the Lake Ontario Radio Club net. Come now.
VA3 DCS.
VE3 DCS, VE3IUK. Good evening, Dave. How are you?
Doing well. Doing well, Bill. And yourself?
Very good. Yeah, I don't know if you missed the question for this evening, but the questions for this evening is what inspired you to become a ham radio operator?
What inspired me to become a ham operator, radio operator? Well, I can't even remember back that far. No, it wasn't that long ago, although it was a fair amount of time. Well, I was into the old CB radio since, mid-70s, and then in 2000 I was driving to Mississauga to work, and I was always chatting back and forth with my buddies here in town, and I knew there was something that might be better, and that's I took the course at Mohawk with who's the instructor? Marty VE3IUK. He was the instructor, and so I got my certificate in April of 2000, and then proceeded not to really use it until I got into this house after, many years. So it was probably, I got back into it but probably about 3 or 4 years ago.
Bill's talking on the wrong microphone.
No, you know what I did? I accidentally hit the lock button, the down button on the microphone. I've got the lock on now, so we should be okay.
Oh, I thought I may have gone and timed out the repeater.
No, it's what's called an I/O error, and I think you know what I mean by that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's my story, and I still have majority of my old CB equipment and base antenna, the old Antron 99, sitting up in the garage, and my mobile K40.
Oh wow! I remember the first CB set I had was an old Motorola Crystal set. I think it had 6 channels in it. I can't remember. I know one of them was channel 19. So there you go. I mean, I don't have it anymore, but that was the first radio I ever transmitted on. Was an old 6-channel Motorola.
Right?
Go ahead.
Just pardon me for busting in, but hearing you talk, Dave. I just thought I'd throw it out for anybody who's listening on the net and yourself. When amongst people's old CB gear, if anybody's got a Hallicrafter CB3A or a CB5 or 7, they were all basically the same except for the number of crystal pairs in them, I'd be interested because they were tubes and they were one of the so simple to put over to 10-meter AM. You just swap the crystals, transmit and receive, and realign them. And after all this time, they may need a few electrical capacitors changed and such, but that's no problem for me. So, Dave, if you got something like that, or if you know anybody does, or anybody hears, or whatever, I'd appreciate it. VE3IUK.
Yeah, roger that there, Bill. No, I don't have any personally. I knew somebody who did. He passed away about 3 years ago, and I don't know what happened to everything he had. He was, I don't know, he was quite well known. He was the head of the BS club here in town back then, and he also sold radios, and he also printed QSL cards.
Oh, I could have used them for the cards.
Yeah, he had a printing press set up in his basement as well. From it was an old one from it was an AB Dick color, had a color head on it. It was quite a nice piece of equipment.
Well, I'm always late for everything, I guess. Back to you, Bill.
Yeah, okay, Bill. I know of your love of old stuff like that, so you never know what kind of response you might get.
Well, I find that, like me, but not quite as extreme, lots of hams, especially us older guys, have got basements full of stuff that was, not good enough to keep, but too good to throw out. And it just sort of sits there and sits there. And a couple of things I've scored. I had posted on Barry ISX's Oscar swap page, or Ontar swap page once. Look at this old heat kit such, and somebody had a HW32 20-meter single bander from Heathkit, and he was selling just the radio, and he was selling it very, very nicely because it is old and it was going to need restoration work. But the amazing thing was he brought it down to deliver it to me, and he threw in the power supply and some other things he had with it. He just said he wanted to see it go to a good home. So I really lucked out there. So I'm sure there's other stuff out there.
Well, I'm sure there is, and I'm quite familiar with the HW32. I actually operated one of those, the 12 and the 32, the 80-meter version and the 20-meter version. But very good, Bill, and we know of your love of old equipment, so you never know if you got to put the word out there, and you never know who might come back to you. But thanks so much for checking in. Anything else before I move on?
Nope. I'll let Dave say goodbye because I just butted in here.
That's right. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm not quite with it tonight. Anyway, sorry, Dave. Anything else before I move on?
Nothing else here. I just switched to my handy talkie because I pushed the button on my radio and I don't want to fix it just yet. So that's what I did there. Nothing else here.
No worries. I got you 100% copy. A little bit breaking fine on the handy talkie, but nonetheless a good copy. Thanks so much for checking in. Anyone else for the Lake Ontario Radio Club Net? Come now. All right, nothing heard. Any last minute check-ins or comments before I close the net down and go put the garbage out? VE3IUK standing by. All right, nothing heard. I'd like to thank all you folks for checking in. It was interesting and learning that about everybody's introduction to ham radio. One of the major common denominators was CD. So we all sort of did an upgrade, if I could coin that phrase. So there you go. I'd like to thank Terry VE3IUK for the use of the repeater. Very much appreciated. Thanks to Mac VA3IMW for streaming this on YouTube. And with that, this is Bill VE3IUK Dundas, turning this frequency, this repeater, and all related frequencies. Boy, I'm tongue-tied tonight. Back to normal. For sure. Everybody have a great evening.
Okay, Bill. That's over, so I can jump in to talk to you. I just wanted to say...
and that'll bring our live stream to a close as well. We'll be back. I'm going to tune up a live stream ready for Wednesday night since Chuck has had some issues with his computer. And so we'll be streaming the Amateur Radio Exchange Group tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, monitoring 146.430. And that runs from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. And then we'll be back at 7 p.m. on Thursday evening for the Simplex edition of the Lake Ontario Radio Club Net, for which I will be the net controller. For the time being, I'll bid you all 7 threes. That's how we say goodbye.